Now, introducing the Queen of Men's Health.
Welcome to the Allie Gilbert podcast, where you'll find the premier men's health info delivered to you the only way I know how, truthful and raw, with the occasional boner joke thrown in. If you guys like this episode, subscribe to my YouTube and slide in the DMs on Instagram and join the party. All right, Dr. Ken Kinakin, what is up?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Of course. Yeah, I know. We were just talking online and I always make the mistake of just chatting without hitting record before. But basically, we were chit-chatting about my experience at Elite FTS with Dave Tate. Some of you guys may have seen me on Table Talk last week. They got the episode out right away. I didn't actually know that they do it live on YouTube while we're there. That I found out the night before. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not going to read the YouTube comments as we chat because that's just a black hole.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. So we were talking about SWIS, which we're going to get into discussing today, and the importance of attending live events, especially post 2020, since so many people missed being in person, making connections and stuff like that. But to kick this off, Ken, I know that you've been doing this over 20 years. So can you give a little history on how you came up with the idea of starting SWIS and how that came about?
Yeah, so my profession is chiropractic. So I graduated in 1991 here in Toronto at CMCC. And so I started presenting across Canada and the United States on weight training injuries, rehab, training protocols, nutrition. And I started to see a model of the doctors were giving well-intentioned bad advice. Like, squats are bad for the knees, that type of nonsense. And you had the personal trainers that had well-intentioned bad technique in the sense of, if you do these 3 magic tubing exercises, all your shoulder pain will go away. Both of them are completely false. Both of them are, but we still have that dogmatic attitude out there. So I thought, well, what happens if you took the fitness professionals and the health professionals and you put them together? And that way you could create a cross referral system. Number one, my main goal was education. So I wanted the doctors and therapists to be educated by the actual trainers. These are the perfect, squat style based on, the different protocols. So we, over the years, I've had Ed Cohn, Bill Kazmaier, JL, Jim Wendler, Dave Tate. They're all talking about training. And then on the other side, we've had some of the top doctors, Dr. Mike Leahy from Active Release Technique. We had, Dr. David Leaf on the muscle testing, Dr. Eric Serrano talking about nutrition. So when you get everyone together and you can see their ideas and models start to mesh together and they can become educated themselves. But mostly I wanted a resource of all the top professionals in different areas. So one year would be focused on the shoulder, another year would be focused on the low back, another year it would be, lower limb type of injuries and training protocols. So we started to create that more and more. So over the past, I started in 1999. And to be honest, it was actually just a giant experiment. I wanted to see whether or not it would work. So I had 2 streams, training and treatment. That was it. And so I had 400 people sign up and show up. And I went, wow, that's awesome. And so over the years, I started to do it more and more. And I stopped doing it in 2005. Because the internet started to come in more and people were getting educated with the online stuff. So I thought, you know what, I needed a break. So I took a break for 10 years and I came back in 2015 and did it in 2016, 2018. And then COVID hit. And then I did it down in Columbus, Ohio with Dave Tate last year. It was very, very successful. And we had 5 streams at the same time. So we would have a training stream, a nutrition stream, a treatment stream, a rehab stream, and then a stream I call Just One Thing, which is a sort of a TED Talk style, 15 minutes, get one concept across. What I find at most conferences the more time that you give people, the more confusing it actually gets. So if you can condense time to the presenters where they don't have enough time to give too much information, because it's almost like drinking out of a fire hose sometimes, with some of these presenters, including myself. It's like, what do you do with all of that? So we've reduced it down to the number one complaint last year: too many streams, too many good presentations. So Dave and I agreed we're going to have 4 streams. We're going to have training, nutrition, combined treatment or rehab. And then on Friday morning or Friday all day, we're going to have panel discussions. And then on Saturday, it'll be just one thing, which are the 15-minute presentations. So it'll be, it's a lot of fun. And again, it's going to be real difficult for people to try and pick and choose, because there's so many good presenters. Like, on Saturday morning at 8:30 and 9:30, so we have Stu McGill in nutrition, Justin Harris at the same time, Dr. Dale Buckberger, and I asked them to show if someone has surgery, how do you actually rehab post-surgical? So that's going to be an unbelievable presentation. Wow. And then we have Jimmy Kolb in the Just One Thing. So he just finished bench pressing 1,400. We have Amber Hansen, who basically squats 800. So, good luck choosing who you want to go see, because they're all incredible. And that's why I videotape it all. So we have something for everyone.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule now and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do you pick? And I'm just glad that you didn't put me against some of my good friends so I can go see them. Like Rick Collins is after me, Luke Lehman. So that's, but damn, if this is jam packed, and I can understand why people would be upset with the multiple streams, but like literally, it doesn't get any better than this. This is awesome.
No, and if you're interested in treatment, rehab, obviously you're going to stay in that stream, but you can go anywhere you want. You can come and go. You don't have to. The rooms are big enough. You can come and go however you please. And if you want to, if there's someone specifically you want, just show up in the room early and grab yourself a seat. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And this makes sense too, that because I think I had first heard about SWIS in around 2016, because that's when I first started following Luke Lehman, and Luke is my coach and he's been my personal coach for the last 6 years. So being introduced to SWIS via him, looking up to him, and now speaking this year, I think I told you when I saw you in DC, I was like, this has been on my list and for my career, like forever. So it's like such an honor to share the same space as some of these highly regarded speakers. But just being able to watch the videos every year as well, I'm like, man, I got to go to this. And I had all intentions to go last year. And I remember asking Dr. Serrano, hey, would you speak at my event? It's in the end of October. He's like, oh, we're doing SWIS then. And I was like, you haven't said anything. And this was like in the beginning of the year. I was like, maybe I'll get him early, because, planning with him is like impossible.
Yeah.
And so I was so upset. It was the same weekend as Silverback, but now like I cannot wait to attend my first one, because I've bought the videos every single year. Like they're my favorite thing to consume, like super fun. Can you talk about what makes it special in attending SWIS and some of the relationships and even business relationships that have been formed through people meeting?
I think the biggest thing is that it's multidisciplinary. And so I have the top powerlifters in the world. I have the top bodybuilders. So I've had Dorian Yates and Lee Haney and John Meadows, they all presented. And then you have the top doctors, and they're presenting all their information, and top therapists. And then we have the nutritionists. They're all coming in. And so it's very rare when you have that many multidisciplinary presenters coming in. Like if I go to a chiropractic seminar, guess what we're going to talk about? Chiropractic. So when you have such a mishmash of all these different concepts and doctors and everything else, And I like to introduce people to different types of treatment protocols, therapy modalities. The MPS Dolphin, which is electroacupuncture, is fantastic. And so they're going to be there again this year. We got Dr. Sergey Serain and Dr. Norm Sheely, who's going to be on a Zoom call. But this new device that I've been playing with, it's called the Gamma PEMF. And it's kind of changing the way that I treat and train, and it's quite the unit. So we're going to be discussing all of that also. And then you have all the different top people in the world. The cool thing is, generally, everyone leaves their ego at the door. Like, I mean, you know, you as an attendee, if you think that, you know, you're all that and you're walking down the hallway, you know, thinking that I bench 400, and then Kazmaier walks around the corner and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not as strong as what I think I am. Yeah. Or you think you're super smart, and then you hear Dr. Stu McGill discussing some of the intricacies of, you know, low back pain. You're like, yeah, maybe I'm not as smart. So everyone leaves their ego at the door. Everyone is eager to learn. And I said this for a number of years, and I didn't figure it out until 2018, that the symposium actually happens in the hallway. And the way that the hotel is structured, we have our own lobby and the hallways are really wide, but everyone attends everyone else's presentations. And so if you're discussing something in the hallway, it's a two-way conversation. And that way you can learn. In the presentation rooms, it's a presentation. It's a one-way discussion from the stage to the audience. Can you ask questions? Yeah, but it's not necessarily, you know, a two-way conversation. So the amount that you can learn in the hallways is huge. We also put weight training equipment in the hallway. So last year, Brian Carroll, after his presentation, took everyone outside, you know, into the hallway and working with people one-on-one on their deadlift and on their squat and everything else. Like, I mean, the guy squatted 1,300 pounds. Who else better to learn from? Yeah. We also have treatment tables all over the place. So everyone is treating everyone. And so you can get treated by some of the best in the world. So we try and make this as practical as possible, but also as experiential. And you and I were discussing earlier that, you know, with the advancement of Zoom and with YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, people are getting a lot of the information from that, which is fantastic. You know, I was kind of thrown off that, you know, how can you learn how to train, you know, on online? And you can learn some stuff, you know, if you have the basics. So there is a time and place for online learning. And also there's a time and place for learning, you know, in person, live. And so there's a lot of things that you will experience and hear and say, especially with the presenters, because all the presenters are around. One of the difficulties that Dave and I saw last year, and I actually see with a number of my patients, is due to COVID, people's emotions and social skills have really gotten, you know, off track. So they're high anxiety, high depression, and so they don't do well in social settings. So Dave and I, what we're going to do this year is we're going to have 10 or 15 what we call facilitators. And what that is that if you want to see someone or talk to someone and you're too shy, you're apprehensive and you're shy and you don't know how to approach maybe someone like Ed Cohn, you'd like to talk to him, get a picture with him, but you're too shy. And the best analogy I can probably give you is that if I walk into a nightclub as a, you know, single male and I see 4 beautiful women, it's really hard. How do you break into that? Like, it's almost next to impossible. Yeah. But then my friend Allie, she walks up. Hey, Ken, how you doing? Oh, great. Hey, you want to meet my 4 friends? Yeah. And you take me over and you introduce me and we're chatting and everything else. So that's what we're going to have at SWIS, is we're going to have 10 or 15 people just walking around saying, is there anyone here that you want to talk to, get a picture with? And pictures are really important because it does give you social proof, you know, just that because someone has a high status and you can be associated with them. So getting as many pictures as possible with all these top people is so, so important. And you can have a small 2-3 minute discussion about anything you want. and they can ask you questions also. So that's some of the formats that we're going to be doing to try and really, get the most out of it. And I've asked a lot of the presenters, especially in the training stream, make it experiential as possible. I've really asked the presenters, don't just make it a PowerPoint, because that's a YouTube video, especially in the training stream. So in the rehab and the treatment, and we're going to be pulling people up on stage. We did that last year with Ed Cohn, where we pulled people up, and you can learn so much by watching the best in the world and what are they looking at. And these are all the small coaching points that you can take home in real time. And even better if you get to go up on stage. So we'll be doing that.
Yeah, that's priceless. And it's honestly a testament to the character of the speakers that you're able to bring together, because as you know, there's events where if someone's speaking at 9 a.m., they show up the night before, they don't, appear anywhere. And as soon as they're done speaking, they leave.
Yeah.
And your speakers immerse themselves in the event. They attend each other's talks. Like they're genuinely interested in seeing each other and getting to know each other. And especially with all the new attendees, because I feel like events in general, especially post 2020, has this huge new wave of coaches. Maybe some of them are just this new online born era that people maybe are not familiar with, like in-person training, and the fact that they would attend a live event is fantastic. But there are a lot of newer coaches in general that have not been exposed to a lot of this education. And you and I know, attending events forever, like that's where you basically meet family who are friends, but the relationships that you develop, you never know where they're going to lead. And I'm sure that you have some amazing stories of either like marriages that have come out of SWIS, or business relationships, or companies that people have no idea were formed because somebody met at SWIS. Can you talk about some of those?
Yeah. So I think it was 2001, John Berardi from Precision Nutrition. So he presented for me for a number of years before. And so he's sitting in the audience, and he's sitting beside Chris and I think Krista. And they went, you know what, we should come up with a nutrition program, a nutrition education called Precision Nutrition. And so they did. And John recently sold it for 9 figures.
That's right. He did. He's out of it. I didn't
He's
know
out
they
of it.
started it at SWIS though. Like
Yeah.
that's where the concept came from.
Yeah. And then in 2015, I was going to bring out Chris and Ann Frederick from Fascial Stretch Therapy. And they couldn't because they had a seminar, but they said, we just want to thank you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be on the map. I go, what do you mean? Which I didn't really understand. So in 2002, Chris and Ann, they came out to do their fascial stretch therapy, and I took all the presenters out for dinner. And the over dinner, they were sitting with Ed McNeely. Ed McNeely was the acquisition editor for Human Kinetics.
Wow.
So he's chatting with them, and he says, you know what? He says, I think you guys should do a book with us. And that's where fascial stretch therapy blew up. So you never know who you're sitting beside. You don't know the opportunities and everything else. And what we're going to do this year is part of what I want to do is set up situations that people will actually be able to meet each other in their area. So we're going to have meetups. And what that will be is that at certain times during the break, say at 1:30, everyone, that's from Toronto, meet up in front of the training room for 5 minutes. Introduce yourself. So all the doctors, all the therapists, all the trainers, strength coaches, nutritionists, you all meet for 5-10 minutes. And that way you can introduce it. And because a lot of times the trainer's down the street and you didn't even know it. And so for myself as a chiropractor, I'm always looking for good trainers that I can refer my clients to, and vice versa. Personal trainers and strength coaches are looking for good doctors and therapists. So you want to meet them in real time. And so that way you can actually build businesses that way. Because I have 20,000 patients. I can fill any personal trainer's practice very quickly. I've done it many, many times. But I have to, number one, know who you are. Number two, how do you practice, and what are your protocols and everything else? And are you a nice person? I've run enough clinics and interviewed enough people that, especially some of the massage therapists, and I've interviewed certain guys and they're just downright creepy. Like, I mean, they creep me out as a guy. I can't even imagine, a female. So you want to be able to know whether or not you want to refer to someone. The only way you can do that is in person, chatting with them for a couple of minutes, and then you can go from there. But oh yeah, people have met up. They've had weddings there. Lucinda and Karsten, they met up at SWIS. So Lucinda was helping me, and Karsten came in from Norway. And yeah, so they were like, oh my God. And yeah, they got married. I think I was the best man there. Yeah, I was in the wedding party. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. All the connections, but it's so important. That is the difference between online and live, is that just that connection. And especially after the presentations, the bar area is huge. It's a whole huge social area with tons of chairs and couches and all that. And so everyone just sits around till 1 or 2 in the morning and talking story and meeting everyone and chatting. And it's a great time.
I think people don't think of the importance of that. And I think it was Ryan when you and I were in DC at Cav's event talking about the importance of a hotel bar. And, strength coaches can either be like raging alcoholics or the complete other side of the spectrum. There never seems to be a middle ground with us, because who wants to be like in the mid ground? You have to be extreme.
Yeah.
And having that place to just sit and meet up, because that's like where everyone would congregate before social media. Like that's where you found people before you would go out to dinner or whatever. And that area of Easton has like a ton of restaurants within walking distance. So it just invites like people to be able to socialize and get to know each other. And like, you got me thinking, because when social media started, like the way you would find people at an event would be through the hashtags. And that's how you would kind of know, all right, this is who this person is, and this is who is here. But now you're actually going to be able to plant people in front of people who are from the same area or in the same field, which I think is a tremendous idea, because these are things that you would not think of 10 years ago because it wasn't like needed. But
no, well, I think it was needed, but we just never really thought about it. And so this year, I was going to do it last year, but I ran out of time to set it up properly. But this year, definitely going to be pushing it hard and heavy. And, and all you need is just to meet one person. If a personal trainer meets one chiro and the chiro's busy and they like each other, literally within a month, you will fill your practice. And I've seen it time and time again. So we're going to be doing that, a lot. I'm also doing something new that I haven't seen anyone do it, and I'm going to be doing it. This will be kind of a hybrid. I'm going to meet people where they are. And what that will be is I'm going to do a pre-symposium mentorship. And what that will be is that I'm going to go online, and if you sign up, you'll be part of this. And I'm going to educate you on how do you get the most out of a seminar, out of a conference. How do you approach people? What are some of the different strategies that you can do that? And that will be once for 6 weeks. And then we'll have the symposium, and we'll be able to discuss all of that. And then I'm going to do a post-symposium mentorship. And what that will be is I'll bring on some of the presenters. And so you can ask them questions. And how do you, incorporate all this information? And so it's going to be not just a weekend. It's literally going to be 2 or 3 months of education just to give more and more value, where we're going to do the combination of the online and also live. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing.
That's a great idea. What made you think of that?
Primarily because I find that most people really, they're shy and they don't know how to interact. So I just saw a number of delegates and attendees last year that in between sessions, they would just go up to their hotel room and hide, and, because they're too shy. So this year, we're going to set it up so that you can do that, but also just giving them cues on how do you, if you're in an elevator and you see someone else with a SWIS badge with their name on it, it's like, this is what you say. Hey, Who did you see? What did you think of the seminar? What, just simple things instead of everyone looking up at the elevator and the floors. Have a discussion. Who
That's
knows?
true.
This may become one of your best friends or a fellow colleague. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from the same city. Oh my God. You may know the same people. You may even train at the same gym. Weird shit happens. So
That's so true. Because I always do that to people. Like, I'm like a massive extrovert at these events, and I'm like, hey, like, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And I think I scare people sometimes because they're not used to that. You're so right. Like, social interaction now is just so awkward for so many people. And especially when people couldn't emote when their face was covered and stuff. And so now it's like getting back into like the real world. And this year, I think, is still like the first year that people have gone to live events since COVID, if they had been going to them. So that's like, 2.5 years or 3 years off of no interaction to the places that they used to use as like their staple social circle. So that says a lot. That's a great idea. And it's like something that's kind of like, oh, duh, but that's actually needed. Like, this is how you talk to people.
yeah, this is how to talk. And then, but I think the other thing is that when you go to seminars and conferences, you're just inundated with so much information. So how do you integrate that? And so that's what my goal is that, because I mean, it truly is kind of drinking out of a fire hose, all this information that you don't know how to integrate it. So I can take people step by step by step by step. This is how you integrate it. And in the pre-symposium, I'm going to teach them on how do you work with a health professional? What are we looking for? And so when you come to the symposium, you're prepared. And that way you have all the different things that you can talk about, what impresses us as a health professional, and how do you, the whole thing is that I find most trainers need to level up. And that's what impresses me about you, is that you focused in on an area as far as the whole male hormone optimization. And so that's brilliant. My whole focus is in weight training injuries. Do I treat a lot of people that have never weight trained? Yeah. But my whole focus, whether it's presenting, whether it's writing articles, doing videos, anything, podcasts, I'm always talking about weight training injuries. Primarily, that's what I love. That's my passion. And I've been really fortunate where I turned my passion. So I'm a competitive powerlifter. I still compete, that I'm able to, take my passion and turn it into my profession. So to me, it's not really work. In fact, at Kavanaugh's seminar in Washington, I was listening to everyone, and then, I can only handle so much of me just sitting there. So I grabbed a bench out there, and I think you saw it. I treated over 40 people, in the hallway, and I got to fix a lot of different things and introduce them to new ideas and concepts. So it's an added value that people had at that conference. So I'm always looking to how can I help people, especially with the different skill sets that I have. So that's my main focus.
I love that. And that's awesome. And I'll be speaking on basically developing a relationship with medical practitioners and how to have that conversation regarding men's hormones, because a lot of coaches ask, like, how do you find competent professionals, or how do you even introduce that conversation to your client? Because that's, in itself something hard for them, especially in the era of social awkwardness too, to take a sensitive subject like men's health that is not often talked about and then discuss that openly. And having the team from Merrick Health there makes it easy, because then I could also help them to be able to add value, like talk through lab panels and stuff like that, because that's still a very new world for a lot of coaches. And, thanks to you, you're bringing all of that together. Can you talk about the different levels of the ticket offerings that you guys have and what those entail?
Yeah, so we have 3 different levels. So we have the general admission, which is the early bird right now, and it's at $547. But we have a special code.
Oh, what's that?
So Ali, ALI, if you use that coupon code, you'll get $150 off the registration. So it'll be under $400, which is incredible price. The next price that we are doing, we videotape the entire session, because technically you can only see 25% of the seminar or the symposium, because there's 3 other streams going at the same time. So we've combined the video along with the live events. So you get all of the actual presentations, and that one is $716. And again, that code will still bring it back down. And then there's 25, I think 15 are already taken up. So there's only 10 spots left of the VIP. So this is, you get to go to the symposium, you get all the videos, plus you get to go and train at Dave Tate's. And so on the Sunday, you get to go to Dave Tate's training compound and go have a workout. I'm going to be there. I'm going to treat anyone that needs treatment. And we're going to bring in some of the other presenters. So we're going to hang out. There'll be a small impersonal 20, 25 people get together where you can ask us any question whatsoever, and we'll answer that. And all of these different ones also come with the pre and post symposium mentorship, and also with the meetup, all of that. And Dave and I, we've been talking, and so we're going to throw on even more bonuses as far as videos. We're going to be putting in some of Dave's books, ebooks, also as a bonus. So we're building it out. My whole focus is I want to basically give about $10,000 worth of value so that people really get. And I really want to work with people to build up their business in whatever way or manner is possible. Because I think in the next year, with everyone's talking about a recession and all that, you're going to have to rely heavily on a network. And number one, you better have a network. And number two, you can have a great network. And that's what I'm trying to achieve as far as building at least the ability to meet different people in your area so that you can cross-refer and support each other in whatever way or manner. So the VIP is $1,400. There's only 10 spots left. Last year, it completely sold out at 25 people. And I talked to Dave this morning, and we're at 15 already. We got 7 weeks left. So this will be sold out very, very quickly. That's a once in a lifetime. I've yet to actually train. I've been to Dave's place. I've yet to actually work out, because I mean, you got to be invited. And so, say, yeah, you can go work out. And Dave's never really allowed me to train there. So
I got to train before you did there. That does not make sense.
I know. So yeah. So I'm going to try and kick in a workout this year, whether or not Dave allows me.
Honestly, if people take advantage of that, first of all, the value that you're providing for the prices is immense. But that VIP day, like, you guys, that is such a treat for me to have the ability to do that. Last year, I was telling Ken offline, because I'm 5'3", I barely fit in any of the machines because they were made for some big dudes. But you walk in there and it is like the adult, like Disney World of meatheadism. I have never been more in heaven, where I'm just like, I don't even know what I would play with first. I could spend all day in here and probably not do everything I would want to. Like there could be a week-long camp where you literally do everything, and you probably still could do multiple other workouts and just not be able to play with everything. Like, it's overwhelming, overstimulating, but it's so cool.
I know. And he's got so much equipment that doesn't exist anywhere else, or it's old, and especially the bars. Like, he has probably this one entire wall. You probably saw it behind the monoliths. He probably has close to 200 bars just standing all straight up, and they're all there, and you can grab anyone that you want. And yeah, it's just unbelievable what you can get there. I think he has 8 monoliths. Like, who has that? Like, I mean, no gym has a monolith, let alone 8 of them.
I know, 8 of them. Like, the benches, like, literally I put my elbows down, like I hit the bench. Like, it's like, they're all huge. The competition ones, the attachments, that really made me laugh, because they had eggplant attachments for pull-ups.
Yeah, I know.
You saw my video. I was like, I have to do video of pull-ups with this. But they had like peaches, and then just the stand with all the different grips and everything, that alone would take 20 minutes to go through. It's just so exciting.
No, it's a lot of fun. It really is. Last year was a lot of fun. Got to meet some really good friends there, treated a lot of people. And this year I'm going to be doing the same thing. So I'm bringing all my gear out there, and anyone that's injured, I'll be treating them. It'll be difficult for me to do at the symposium. I'll try, but I'm presenting or running around and organizing. So it's a little bit more difficult for me at the symposium. On the Sunday, when I'm at the gym, I'm there 100%. I don't have anything else to worry about.
That's amazing. And I will comment on the fact that not a lot of people understand what goes into putting on an event. So when the event is over, you're completely destroyed. So for you to be able to provide treatment for people is saying a lot about you, because that takes a lot of energy just leading up to the event. And then you have the adrenaline dump after, and it's just so stressful, and all the things that change minute by minute and everything. So that's pretty awesome. And so if someone wants to sign up, where are they going?
Just go, they can go to Elite FTS, SWIS2023.com. I imagine we'll put a link in your show notes there, but you can follow me, you can follow Dave. We have links all over the place as far as where you can sign up. But yeah, it's you can go to the website. EliteFTS.com also has their page where you can sign up right there. All the presenters and their information. I've been working on the schedule itself, so I'll be posting that shortly. There's been some changes in the last week, actually in the last 24 hours. So I'm continually changing it with presenters coming in. Some presenters are coming out due to certain reasons. So yeah, so it's 99% done as far as all the presenters and their topics, but it's action packed. This is one of the best ones that I've done, and it's been a real honor to work with Dave. Dave and I have been working really hard on it, and he's great to work with. He's just a hoot. So
oh man, I'm so excited. So guys, get on the VIP, use the code Allie. I do not monetize that. I don't make anything. It's an exclusive offer for you guys. And then if you guys want to attend Silverback, you get a special discount as well if you buy a ticket to SWIS. So let us know that if you register for SWIS that you want to come to Silverback, which is November 9th through 11th, which has a few of the same speakers from SWIS, but basically focused just on men's health. So
wow.
Yeah.
And now, is it one stream at your conference, or do you have multiple?
It's one stream, but I basically threaded in formal talks, but not hour-and-a-half long talks like the old days, the shorter ones that are going to be like between 30 and 45 minutes with discussion panels, fireside chats, that type of thing, to provide that same experience. Because I found a lot of people just really want to get to the point, especially with a lot of the medical oriented topics like testosterone replacement and certain drugs and stuff, and the legality surrounding that. So having discussion panels with people like Serrano and Rick Collins, and mixing in some of the nutrition and fitness people like Luke Lehman, Ryan Fainley, like a lot of those guys, Brian Cron, and myself, I guess, to discuss that openly, similar to what you provide at SWIS, but for men's health, I figured was a better experience than, like you said, with PowerPoint all day long and stuff like that. So
yeah, the PowerPoint's good, like for nutrition, you got to have that in some of the other presentations, but you also want to make it as experiential as possible, in any way or manner that you can. So yeah, it's a combination of it. But your event sounds amazing. And how do people sign up for your conference?
Silverbacksummit.com. That's
okay.
it. So
How did you come up with that?
It was a couple of years ago, where it was right during COVID. I monitor a group on Facebook, or I'm a moderator in a TRT group. And I became friendly with some of the moderators who are also physicians. And I was like, these guys are doing things that are different from what standard conventional medicine is. And then so are other people that I know of, like Dr. Serrano and I was like, everyone should do this in the same room and talk about this in a very truthful, unfiltered way. So I was like, why don't we just have an event? And I like throwing parties. So I was like, let's make it a fun party. And then that's kind of how it was born last year. And it's Silverback because my logo is a gorilla, because I didn't think that the eggplant was a very good representation of men's health. Like, I think most guys would rather look like a silverback gorilla than a purple vegetable.
Very true. Very
so
true.
that's
Good
how that
branding.
came about. Yeah. So this is our second year, and now it's grown from just medical topics and only, some fitness topics to business, medical, and fitness all together. So for guys.
That'll be amazing. That's
but women
amazing.
can attend. Women can attend if you're in men's health, if you're a guy, if you're a coach, trainer, nutritionist, or just somebody who's an enthusiast, you can attend. So.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on tonight. I hope.
Thank you. Thank you for
everyone-
having me and discussing this.
Yeah, I hope everyone runs to the websites to grab tickets, because especially for that VIP, like, you guys do not know what you're missing if you've never trained or heard of the compound out of the FTS, but it is a treat. It has no signage on the street for a reason.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, good luck finding it. So get on that. And Ken, again, thank you so much. If people have any questions for you specifically, where can they find you?
You can find me online. So I'm on Facebook, Ken Kinakin, also on Instagram, SWIS_Dr. Ken Kinakin. And so they can DM me if they have any questions or any concerns, or they can also access me through the website. So in any way that they can.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Ken. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Pleasure. Thank you.